to present, and yep.
You make your own future. We saw it as an opportunity of doing something different, of pushing our philosophy. We really want to show people our energy. What we do is a craft, we do it with our hearts. We feel connected with the environment. We feel connected with people. The word holistic, that's how we live. Our food doesn't go for more than 100 kilometers from where we are. We wanted to keep that experience. It's not only food. Every time we're getting birds, pheasants, squirrels, wild game, and the land. We try to keep it in the 100 kilometers range. Suppliers come from different trips and visits and farmers market. You always get to know farmers. Manus Peninsula is full of edible things wild. We forage everything, whatever we find. We can see the seasons going so fast. We want the peak of the best of the season. A big joke of the restaurant is how to enjoy what nature produces in the most raw form that you can find it. See all the mycelium on top of it? This is the typical mushroom that you buy in the supermarket. I've been thinking a lot about that, how free we are, how able to do this just 3 minutes from the restaurant. It's a dream, man. You can feed a family. There's a massive source of food here. I think nature decides what to do. We cannot ask anything to her. I think there is a lot of curiosity in cooking. Fermentation food is amazing. You can create flavors, you can preserve food in the most natural way. We like to do everything with the best, do the most you can with everything you get. The idea of making the restaurant was most sustainable as possible. Our organic waste goes to the chicken. We treat every part of the animal as a whole. Sustainability is one very important side, but consciousness is more like an ethic. Taking care of the environment is part of the consciousness. The idea of having a degustation is knowing what people is eating and what you are cooking. You are cooking for 10, you are making 10 portions. We have no waste in the daily cooking. If there is no people coming to the restaurant, we just don't cook, simple. We don't want to put energy into something that is not going to be used. We are creating our own food security and we are sharing with the community because they are not growing only for us. You can grow your own food. You don't need to go to the supermarket. We can grow everything ourselves. We can go to the farmers, make relationships with people, not with a pill. 90% edible garden, plus chicken and a beehive. In a city landscape, same thing, but for us it is a house. We live there, so it's not a business garden, it is a house garden. We eat from it. It is changing a mindset, and it's giving more opportunity to people.
Well, this is what we do, and for us is, like I said, you know, everything is it's a long story since the earthquake happened in Christchurch, and yeah, there were reasons why we didn't leave Lyttelton and not anywhere else. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions, just feel free. We have a big story to tell here.
When you pick your way of food,
Yep.
how do you know what is safe and what isn't?
Well, I know. I've been doing it. I work in Spain for a year in a restaurant, and they were focusing foraging food as well. And so we learn what you can eat, and it's better to pick what you know what is edible instead of picking things that you don't know. And we know what is edible, and we just pick that. Same with mushrooms, as you said. And if I don't know what it is, I just don't even touch it. So we focus in what we know, and that's what we eat. Well, Michael, I think, is next. The question, I think, is going to be later. But
Thank you, Giulio.
Thanks, Giulio. That was going to be a hard one to top, wasn't it? Anyway, like I said, my name is Michael. I'm a chef in Auckland. I run a business in Dominion Road, Mount Eden. It's my own. It's called Merediths. We've been there for 7 years. Obviously, I've sort of started my training in Auckland. I was born and brought up in Samoa. I didn't come to New Zealand until I was 13. So a lot of my early food memories and discovery were based in the islands. And there was a lot of respect because obviously you do a lot of homegrown, home kill, and things like that. So you grow up sort of, you don't think that part of your life will play a big part in your career in the future, but eventually, when you get to my age and you have enough time, you can reflect on those experiences. The slides we've got running behind you, I guess it's just, that's my uncle actually, so we've just put him up there. But the slides we've got running here is, I guess over the 7 years we've been open, our food has changed a little bit. We sort of create the menu by, 80% we focus on New Zealand ingredients. The other 20, obviously, I think that sometimes it can restrict you how you create if you sort of just focus what's in the season. But we always, we want the ingredients to be the foremost important, and then we create around that. But I guess the images are from over the 7 years. I got a small kitchen, there's only 4 of us in there. And obviously we started off a la carte, but now we only do degustations, which we run from Tuesday to Saturday. The restaurant also has gone through a bit of a facelift. Obviously in Auckland, food and service is not enough. You have to keep changing things around to keep people coming through. But, saying that, I guess for me, I enjoy what I do, and it sort of doesn't stop. The creativity will always flow. I think you just have to be, in some way, honest in your own presentation, because it's you can't sort of mimic things like that. It has to come within. And sometimes it takes time, and sometimes it takes experiences to change all that. Those are my 3 girls. I guess it's sort of, part of cooking and part of growing in the restaurant. It becomes a lifestyle. And obviously you have sacrifices in certain things. but it's all part of the restaurant business. So yeah, I'm sort of running out of things to say, but but yeah, hopefully, thanks for having me down here. I really enjoyed this. I think this is a great thing that Otago's doing, so it's going to hopefully expose more of what New Zealand has to offer. So enjoy it.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Yeah. My name is Gianpaolo. I am the chef at Giapo Ice Cream in Auckland. I want to start by saying thank you to Richard for organizing this beautiful event, and Darcy and all the team here at Otago Polytechnic. It's a massive effort for New Zealand gastronomy, which I think is going very, very well, and hopefully soon we will have one restaurant like Michael or Giulio being mentioned in the world's best 50 restaurants in the world. It's one of my dreams to see them showing up on the list. And just because I really feel the connection with New Zealand, and I see that the movement of great food and great chefs means a lot for the culture of the country. Michael started all this. I don't want to talk about him, he doesn't need anything, But, I'm a big fan, and he started all this probably 10 years ago, and I think New Zealand deserves more internationally, and hopefully they will come. Ice cream, New Zealand, milk, dairy, I saw the connection, and I started doing it. I started in a kitchen 20 years ago. I was the commis in the pastry lab of my uncle. I come from Italy, south of Italy, in Sorrento. So I was pretty much cleaning and doing all the worst you could think of. But then again, I learned a lot. I learned the passion for great ingredients and the passion they were putting in doing things that probably were not even covering the costs. But then that again, with my stupidity, I decided to do it anyway. And at the green economics, so stupid. No, not really. Not really. With all that, with my experience that I had, with that experience, of course, I learned pretty much all I know about pastry and ice cream. And when I moved to New Zealand 11 years ago, I said that's what I'm going to do. I've never been able to open a pastry shop, but with Giapo, at the end, I'm being able now to combine my three big passions, which are ice cream, pastry, and cooking. So I really cook, I make pastry, I do chocolate, and I make ice cream because that's the only thing I really sell. $7, nothing. Look, I do. I'm joking. I'm like that. So I say all this, but there is also something else that we do. This year has been quite a big year for us. We had a big award from Cuisine. We eventually been acknowledged for something that was very important, and we recently had another big mentioned on an international magazine that quoted us as the 10th best ice cream kitchen in the world. I don't think we deserve all of that, of course, but there is room, and there is lots of room for us to improvement. The focus and the future of what we are doing will be much more on creativity, like it has never been before. Having somebody that comes and say, well done, boy, it's very good, because it gives you the sprint for the next year or so, the next 2 years, that makes you feel you are on the right track. So Giapo at the moment is working on 3 main projects, and that I see are going to do something quite cool in food and creativity. Before I get to those 3 projects, I want to say what we do in our kitchen every day. And now we create new food. or new flavors, you know. The creativity, we have a creative method, and like everyone else, we try to get inspiration on ingredients list and dishes we've done in the past, and Michael's photos on Instagram and Giulio's photos on Instagram, and a beautiful day, and really everything you can see. And then you see all these and you try to change it into a food or something, or a presentation, and that you like and tastes great and can represent something that you want to mean right that minute. And this is something that I think Michael and all the other chefs do, because this is pretty much how we create a new dish. What we are also doing at the moment, that is the special bit, and is that we understood that creativity, it's not just internal. Creativity is internal and it is external, and it can be exogenous, I say. Exogenous means coming from external parties, right? So I have, I'm a scientist, so I have a scientist background, and I really love science, and so I hooked up with the physics department, the nanotechnology department, the food science department of the major universities in New Zealand. And with the physics and nanotechnology, I'm now working on, I'm leading the project to create a new chocolate, a complete new chocolate, a better chocolate, still chocolate, but better one. Which means, you know, the technology to create chocolate at the moment is pretty much the same as it was 60, 70 years ago. Chocolate is conched, is melanged, you know, the same way. I've taught and designed a new system to do it, and hopefully with the way of nanotechnology we can get that done, and we can show New Zealand again another good thing. With food science at AUT, I'm publishing 2 papers, and hopefully there will be 3 with the nanotechnology one. And these 2 ones are about multisensorial experiences and how food is completely integrated with watching, seeing, smelling, and all of them, and we're proving it. So I'm one of the guys that actually is proving that whatever Emily told us yesterday, it's the truth. You know, it's science. It makes sense. I've also built a little lab in my shop to prove that by myself before I went and proposed the paper to the university. The third thing I'm doing is still with the university, now with the microbiology department, is that we're culturing pretty much every single food that exists in the world. So starting from Coke, finishing to bread, meat, lamb, fish, anything you have in the fridge right now is being cultured. And it's my project. So I'm culturing with any sort of yeast, any sort of microbiotics, any sort of microorganisms that exist. We're listing them, we're listing the food that we have, and we're trying to change taste, flavor, textures of everything that exists at the moment. And that's, I think, is going to be a big, big thing. And if we can track it and replicate it, what we're doing, and creating a little encyclopedia on how to change flavor, textures, and taste of food, it's a good thing. So I think New Zealand is, at the moment, is really living a big time, and I'm glad to be here today with you guys. Thank you so much, and yeah, that's me.